The elevator chimed at 3:12 a.m., its metallic echo slicing through the quiet luxury of the Lockwood residence on Park Avenue. Adrian Lockwood stepped out, straightening the collar of his tailored charcoal blazer, the faint scent of Brielle's perfume still clinging to him like a secret he never intended to hide. The Manhattan skyline shimmered outside the full-height glass windows, but inside his penthouse, something felt wrong. Too still, too cold, too silent. He closed the door behind him with a soft click, expecting the usual Elena asleep on the sofa with the baby monitor beside her, a blanket half slipping off her shoulder, one dim lamp left on because she was afraid of the dark after childbirth. But tonight, the lamp was off. All of them were. Adrian frowned. "Elena," he called out, voice low, almost cautious. He dropped his keys on the marble countertop, their sharp clatter echoing unnaturally in the dark hallway. No answer, only silence, thick and heavy. He loosened his tie, annoyed. "Elena, for God's sake, it's late. Don't play games." He walked deeper into the penthouse, past the modern fireplace, past Elena's half-finished cup of chamomile tea sitting cold on the coffee table. Her Kindle lay face down beside it. That wasn't like her. She never left it there. She always put it back in the drawer. A strange, uneasy pulse throbbed at the base of his skull. He moved toward the nursery. His hand froze on the doorknob. The nightlight was off. The hallway smelled faintly of baby lotion, but also of emptiness. When he pushed the door open, the darkness inside felt like a mouth swallowing him whole. Then his eyes adjusted. The crib, white, soft, expensive, sat in the corner. Empty. Every breath inside Adrian's chest stalled. He flicked the light switch. The sudden glow was brutal. Blankets. Gone. Diaper bag. Gone. All the bottles. Gone. The rocking chair where Elena spent hours comforting their son. Empty. "Elena," he whispered now, not irritated, not impatient, truly afraid. He searched the room, then the closet, then the bathroom. Nothing. Behind him, a gust of cold air swept from the living room. Adrian turned sharply. A piece of paper rested on the floor, as if deliberately placed where he would find it. He picked it up. A single line, written in Elena's careful handwriting. "By the time you read this, we're safe." No. His stomach plummeted. Then another realization struck him, a realization far more terrifying than the empty crib, the dark house, or the missing wife. The safe in his study. He sprinted toward it. The door was open. Files were missing. And the USB, the one thing he could never afford Elena to see, was gone. The man who always controlled everything suddenly felt the ground crack beneath his feet. But he hadn't seen the worst part yet, because the real nightmare was waiting just beyond the study door. Adrian stood frozen in the doorway of his study, the open safe gleaming under the recessed lights like a gaping wound. For a long moment, he didn't move, couldn't move. His mind jerked between disbelief and the rising dread building in his chest like a pressure bomb. Elena wasn't smart enough to crack the safe. She wasn't bold enough. She wasn't capable. At least, that's what he had always believed. He knelt, touching the edges of the safe's door. No signs of forced entry. No scratches. No bent metal. Whoever opened it knew the exact code. The exact code only he should have known. "Impossible," he muttered, but the word felt thin and hollow in the air. He stood and scanned the study, the Mont Blanc pen still perfectly aligned on the desk, his iPad still charging, his cufflinks still in their velvet box. Nothing else was disturbed. It wasn't a robbery. It was intentional, precise, targeted. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He expected Elena's number, or a text that could explain any of this. Instead, one missed call, Lexford Technologies Security Department. 2 new messages. Brielle Vaughn. He ignored Brielle. For once, she didn't matter. He opened the voicemail from security. "Mr. Lockwood, this is Deputy Chief Monroe. We detected an unusual remote login to your personal financial server at 1:47 a.m. The attempt was authorized with your credentials. We need to confirm whether it was you. Call back immediately." Adrian's heart dropped into a cold, bottomless pit. Elena. It had to be Elena. But how? He paced across the study, trying to put the pieces together. Elena barely understood online banking. She once asked him how to reset her email password. The idea of her hacking into his financial server was absurd unless someone helped her. A sour taste crept into his mouth. "Who the hell did you run to?" he whispered. He stormed out of the study and marched to the bedroom. The sheets were tossed aside, still carrying Elena's faint scent mixed with baby powder. Her nightgown lay on the floor, her slippers were gone. He opened the closet. Half her clothes remained. Half were missing. Every item taken was strategic comfortable shoes, warm sweaters, baby carriers, Elena's nursing scarves. She didn't flee in panic. She packed to survive. He checked the bathroom cabinet. Her medication bottles were gone. So were the babies. Adrian's breathing quickened. The panic he once mocked in other men now wrapped around his throat like a tightening fist. He ran to the kitchen. The diaper bag was gone. The emergency cash envelope he'd hidden above the refrigerator gone. The spare car key gone. Elena didn't just run. She planned this. His hands trembled as he gripped the kitchen island. He felt a sting of humiliation. Elena, the fragile, soft-spoken woman who lived in the shadows of his ambition, had outmaneuvered him. That truth burned more than the missing USB, more than the empty crib, more than the cold house wrapped in silence. He whispered her name again, but this time it sounded like defeat. "Elena, what did you do?" He pulled out his phone and dialed her number one more time. A soft ringing echoed somewhere inside the penthouse. He followed the sound. It led him to the laundry room. Her phone sat on top of the washer. Screen cracked, still warm, placed there intentionally. Like a message. "You can't track me anymore." A chill crawled down Adrian's spine. Then, a faint creak. From the hallway. He turned slowly, because someone else was in the penthouse, and the person stepping out of the shadows was the last human being Adrian ever expected to see there. Adrian's breath hitched as the faint creak echoed down the hallway. For a moment, he wondered if it was just his nerves frayed, stretched thin, ready to snap. But then came another sound, unmistakable this time. The quiet, deliberate thud of a shoe on hardwood. Someone was here. In his penthouse. At 3 in the morning. The same penthouse guarded by a 24/7 doorman, keycard elevator access, and a private security system he paid thousands a month for. No one should have been able to enter without authorization. No one. Adrian moved slowly, every instinct sharp. He wasn't afraid he didn't do fear, but the unknown made his pulse quicken. He stepped out of the laundry room and into the dim hallway, illuminated only by the glow of the city seeping through the glass walls. "Who's there?" he demanded, voice deceptively calm. A shadow shifted near the nursery door. Then a figure stepped forward. Tall, dark coat, gloves, a face half hidden by the low light, but the voice smooth, measured, with that infuriating undercurrent of controlled intelligence, was unmistakable. "Relax, Adrian. If I wanted you dead, I wouldn't be standing in your hallway." Adrian's jaw tensed. Noah? Dr. Noah Whitfield, the neurologist. The man Adrian always despised without any logical reason, just a gut-deep knowing that the guy's mere existence rubbed him the wrong way. "What the hell are you doing in my home?" Adrian snapped. Noah stepped fully into the light. His expression was unreadable, which somehow made him even more dangerous. He looked too calm for the situation, too put together, his black coat dusted with frost from the cold Manhattan night. "I came because Elena asked for help," Noah said casually, as if discussing the weather. Adrian felt a heat rising in his chest, rage, fear, jealousy, confusion, all tangled like barbed wire. "Elena hasn't spoken to you in years." Noah's gaze sharpened. "You sure about that?" The implication hit Adrian with the force of a slap. He moved in closer, eyes cold. "Where is she?" "That's not information you get to demand," Noah replied, unbothered. "Not anymore." Adrian clenched his fists. "She took my son." Noah tilted his head slightly. "Did she? Or did she take herself out of a dangerous situation you created?" Adrian laughed once, sharp and humorless. "You don't know anything about our marriage." "I know enough," Noah said quietly. "I know she came to me 2 months ago, asking if there were legal resources for a mother who feared losing custody. I know she showed me bruises that weren't from childbirth. And I know she begged me not to tell anyone, not even you." Adrian froze. His mind reeled. Bruise? Legal resources. 2 months ago? Elena had never. She wouldn't. She couldn't. "You're lying," Adrian hissed. Noah didn't flinch. "I wish I were." "Oh?" Adrian shook his head violently, like trying to dislodge a thought he refused to believe. Elena wouldn't keep secrets from me. Noah took a step closer, lowering his voice. Then you truly have no idea who you married. A chill sliced down Adrian's spine, sharper than the winter wind outside. What does that mean? Adrian demanded. Noah slipped his gloved hands into his coat pockets. It means Elena's past didn't disappear just because you married her. And now that she remembers pieces you worked so hard to bury. He paused. Adrian's heart hammered. She's not running from you, Adrian. Noah's eyes narrowed with something like pity and warning. She's running for her life. And before Adrian could respond, Noah revealed the first truth that shattered everything Adrian thought he knew about his wife. Adrian's chest tightened as Noah's last words echoed across the dim penthouse. She's running for her life. The phrase didn't make sense. Elena wasn't the type to have enemies, let alone a past violent enough to require running. Adrian had chosen her precisely because she was quiet, harmless, malleable. A woman with no family, no social circle, no power. A woman who wouldn't fight back. He swallowed, trying to steady his voice. What exactly are you implying? Noah stepped further into the living room, his coat brushing the side of the sofa, eyes locked on Adrian with unnerving calm. Elena didn't tell you because she couldn't. When I met her 12 years ago, she was a completely different person. Adrian scoffed. Stop with the theatrics. But Noah didn't blink. She was part of a federal protection program. Adrian's blood went cold. What? Witness protection, Noah repeated flatly. Her real name isn't Elena Mercer. She testified in a corporate corruption case when she was 18. She saw something she wasn't supposed to see, something that made very powerful people want her gone. Adrian stared at him, stunned. That's impossible. I vetted her. Every background check came back clean. That's the point, Noah replied sharply. Her identity was designed to be clean. Adrian felt his breath falter. His mind reeled. Federal protection. 18 years old? Corporate corruption? None of it matched the gentlewoman who cried at commercials and apologized when she bumped into furniture. Adrian shook his head violently. No. This is some story Elena fed you. But Noah took his phone out and scrolled before holding it out. A grainy photo. Taken over a decade ago. A teenage girl, same eyes, same faint dimple, sitting in a sterile interview room with 2 federal agents behind her. It was Elena. Younger. Harder. Different. Adrian stepped back. The room felt suddenly smaller. Elena was the last surviving witness, Noah continued. She was moved 3 times. Her memory of the events was partially suppressed because she couldn't handle the trauma. Eventually, the agency released her from the program, but her identity stayed intact. She built a new life. A quiet one. Adrian's voice cracked with venom. And you knew all this. She trusted me. Noah said simply. The words struck Adrian like a punch. Trusted. Past tense. He clenched his jaw. Why now? Why would this matter today? Because someone found her, Noah said. Someone who knows she's alive. Someone who accessed your financial system last night. Adrian's stomach twisted. You think the login attempt wasn't her? Noah finished. It was them. Adrian felt his world tilt. The USB. The stolen files. The open safe. No longer looked like Elena's doing. Noah stepped closer, lowering his voice. 2 weeks ago, Elena had fragments of memories return. She remembered a face, a voice. And she realized she wasn't safe. Hon? Why didn't she tell me? Adrian snapped. Because you were the reason they found her. Adrian froze mid-breath. What did you just say? You filed an insurance update using her maiden name, Noah said. Her real maiden name. You didn't know what it meant, but the people hunting her did. It pinged their system instantly. Adrian felt nauseous. His carelessness. His paperwork. His mistake. That was what exposed her? He grabbed Noah by the collar. Where is she? Where's my son? Noah didn't resist. He didn't even blink. That boy you call your son. He's the only reason she's still alive. Adrian's grip loosened. What are you talking about? Noah's expression darkened. The weight of something enormous sitting behind his eyes. Elena didn't just run to protect herself. He paused. She ran because of the truth about that baby. Adrian's throat closed. A truth. Noah whispered. You were never meant to discover. For a moment, Adrian thought the floor had dropped beneath him. Noah's words echoed like a slow-moving explosion inside his skull. A truth you were never meant to discover. His eyes narrowed. Say it. What about the baby? Noah exhaled, a long, heavy breath, as if deciding how much truth Adrian was capable of hearing. You really don't know, do you? Noah asked quietly. Adrian stepped forward, muscles taut, fury and fear coiling in his chest. Don't play games. Tell me. Huh? Noah held his gaze. The baby isn't biologically yours. The world snapped. The air, the lights, even the hum of the heater. Everything went silent. For a second, Adrian didn't breathe. Then he barked out a laugh, sharp, bitter, hysterical. That's impossible. I saw the IVF papers. Yes, Noah said. And those papers were forged. Adrian felt heat rising up his neck. By who? Elena would never. Elena didn't. Noah cut in. You didn't either. Someone else did. Someone who needed control over her. The implication hit him like a steel beam. Brielle? He whispered. Noah's eyes didn't flicker. You're not the first man she's manipulated, Adrian. Adrian staggered back, grabbing the edge of the kitchen island to anchor himself. His pulse pounded in his throat. Everything he thought he knew, his marriage, his child, his control fractured. He could barely form the words. Then whose child is he? For the first time, Noah's face softened not with pity, but with something more complicated. Maybe guilt, maybe sorrow. Elena doesn't even know, Noah said. She was on a sedative during the embryo transfer. The clinic bribed a technician. The embryo used was not the one you two submitted. Adrian felt nausea rise like bile. But why? He demanded. To protect her. Noah replied. Elena is the last surviving witness to a billion-dollar corruption case. Her existence threatens powerful people. If she had a child connected by blood to them, she becomes valuable, untouchable. Adrian's mind spun. So the baby is a shield? A living one, Noah said. The child's DNA links him to someone they can't publicly acknowledge. Someone whose downfall would collapse too many financial empires. That's why Elena is still alive. They want to control her. They want to retrieve the child. Adrian swallowed hard. And suddenly, desperately, he needed to know something. So, who is the father? Noah hesitated. Tell me, Adrian growled. Noah looked him dead in the eyes. The DNA belongs to the son of a federal judge. And the judge is the same man Elena testified against when she was 18. Adrian felt the blood drain from his face. That's insane. No, Noah said softly. It's strategic. They lost Elena once. They won't lose her again. That's why she ran. Not from you, from the people who will do anything to reclaim that child. Adrian gripped the counter so tightly his knuckles whitened. And you're helping her? I'd help anyone in danger, Noah said. But Elena? She's different. Adrian's jaw clenched. Because you love her. Noah didn't deny it. I love her enough to protect her from anyone. A dangerous stillness filled the room. So where is she hiding? Adrian asked. You'll never find her unless she wants you to. Adrian stepped forward, rage igniting again. I swear, Noah, I will burn this city down if she doesn't come back with my... Noah cut him off sharply. Say it right, Adrian, he said. He's not your son. Adrian lunged. But Noah moved first. He grabbed Adrian's wrist and shoved him back with a force that didn't match his calm demeanor. You want the truth? Noah's voice dropped to a lethal whisper. Then brace yourself, because I haven't even told you the worst part yet. Elena didn't just run to protect the baby. She ran because she finally remembered what you did to her. Adrian froze, his breath stopping midway in his chest, his heartbeat slamming against his ribs like it wanted out. What I did to her? The accusation hung in the air, vibrating with a truth he did not understand and did not want to understand. You're delusional, he snapped, but his voice cracked, betraying the uncertainty crawling up his spine. Noah didn't blink. He took a step forward, closing the space between them, until Adrian could see the tension in his jaw, the restrained fury in his usually calm eyes. She remembered, Noah said evenly. And once she did, there was no going back. Adrian shook his head. I never touched her. I never hurt her. She always knew she was safe with me. Noah gave a humorless laugh. A woman can be imprisoned without leaving a mark. The words hit Adrian like a slap. You controlled her finances, monitored her medical records, chose her doctors, restricted her contact with coworkers. You filed paperwork without her consent. You made her dependent on you. That's marriage, Adrian spat. That's captivity, Noah corrected. Something inside Adrian twisted. Not guilt. Not yet. But the beginning of something he wasn't prepared to face. Whatever she remembered, you planted it, Adrian insisted. You've always resented me. This isn't about me. Noah's voice sharpened. This is about what you did 8 months ago at the fertility clinic. Adrian's blood ran cold. 8 months ago. The night he insisted they switch to IVF. The night Elena cried in the car because she felt something was wrong. The night he told her she was being dramatic. I didn't do anything, he said, but even he could hear the hollowness beneath the words. Noah stepped closer. You signed off on a sedation protocol that Elena never approved. You forced a medical procedure on a woman who was half-conscious. You changed her reproductive plan. That is a violation beyond comprehension. Adrian's mouth went dry. I signed what the doctor gave me. Noah's eyes hardened. Because you made sure she never read anything. You made her trust you blindly, and you took advantage of that. Adrian felt the room tilt, as if the floor was slipping under his feet. He grabbed the counter again. He couldn't breathe. Stop, he whispered. You're twisting everything. Oh, I'm not done, Noah said softly. Adrian's head jerked up. Elena didn't just remember the clinic. She remembered who brought her there. Adrian blinked. I did. No, Noah said quietly. You weren't alone. A strange, creeping chill traced down Adrian's spine. What are you talking about? You brought someone else. Someone Elena hadn't seen in years. Someone you lied about never meeting. Adrian stared, confusion furrowing his brow. No, that's impossible. She must have misremembered. Trauma distorts details, but not faces. What face? Adrian demanded, frustration exploding in his chest. Noah inhaled slowly. She remembered Brielle. Adrian froze. No movement. No breath. Nothing. That's insane, he said after several seconds. Brielle wasn't there. She wasn't even part of our lives then. I didn't even know her yet. But even as he said it, something inside him recoiled. A feeling like déjà vu or like a memory buried under layers of rationalization. Noah watched him carefully. She remembered Brielle whispering to the technician. She remembered hearing your voice say, just do it. She doesn't need to know. Elena remembered being pinned down. Not by force, by drugs, by trust. Adrian staggered back as the room seemed to close in around him. No, he whispered. No. I would never. She's my wife. Exactly, Noah murmured. Which makes your betrayal unforgivable. Adrian felt his throat tighten until he could barely swallow. Why would I do something like that? He managed to choke out. Noah's expression shifted less angry, more somber. Because Brielle convinced you that Elena's trauma made her unstable. That she couldn't handle a pregnancy. That you needed control. That you needed the child more than she did. Adrian's heart pounded, sickeningly loud. Noah leaned in. And once Elena remembered that Brielle was there that night, everything clicked. Adrian's voice trembled. Everything like what? Noah lowered his voice to a whisper. Everything including the fact that Brielle wasn't a stranger when she walked into your office 4 years ago. Adrian stared at Noah as if the man had just spoken in a language no human should understand. Brielle wasn't a stranger when she walked into your office 4 years ago. The words pulsed through his skull like a slow, poisonous drumbeat. That's a lie, Adrian snapped, though his voice wavered. I met her in HR. She interviewed. She had a resume, a background check, credentials. Noah's expression didn't shift. She had a fabricated resume, a paid-off reference, and a background check that conveniently skipped 3 entire years of her life. That's impossible, Adrian said, shaking his head. Lexford's screening is airtight. They only screen for what they're told to look for. The sentence struck Adrian harder than he expected. He crossed the room restlessly, running a shaky hand through his hair. Why would Brielle go through that trouble just to get a job? Not for a job, Noah said. For you. Adrian turned sharply. Why me? You married Elena, Noah replied. You married the girl they spent a decade trying to erase, and you brought her into a public-facing corporate world. Eventually, someone was bound to notice. Adrian's pulse spiked. You're saying Brielle what? Targeted me? Stalked me? Set up an interview just to get close? She didn't set up the interview, Noah corrected. She engineered it. Adrian swallowed. His throat felt lined with sandpaper. But why would she help them? What does she gain? Noah hesitated for the first time, and that hesitation made everything worse. She wasn't just working for them, he said slowly. She's one of them. Adrian blinked. One of who? The Vaughn family isn't just wealthy, Noah said. They're tied to the exact financial corruption Elena testified about. Brielle grew up hearing your wife's real name like a curse. A chill crawled down Adrian's spine. No, he whispered. No, Brielle doesn't have that kind of influence. She's just an assistant. She's the half-sister, Noah said quietly, of the man whose empire collapsed after Elena testified, the son of the judge. Adrian stopped breathing for a full second. That's impossible, he finally managed. She would have told me. Noah let out a short, humorless breath. She didn't sleep with you because she loved you, Adrian. She seduced you because she needed access. She needed leverage. You were the key to getting Elena to resurface. Bud. A flash of memory struck him. Brielle at the fertility clinic, her hand on his arm, her whisper. Trust me, Adrian. You're doing the right thing. His stomach lurched. So she manipulated me, he murmured. She got into my life, into my marriage. She made me believe Elena was unstable. She didn't have to work hard, Noah said softly. You were already primed to believe the worst. Adrian stiffened, stung. Don't pretend Elena was perfect. She wasn't, Noah agreed. But she wasn't dangerous. She wasn't broken. She was scared, and you made fear her entire environment. Adrian's jaw clenched. Then why did she stay with me? Noah met his eyes. Because she didn't remember who she was. Trauma erased it. She built her identity around you because it was all she had left. The sentence landed like a strike. Adrian looked away, gripping the back of a chair until his knuckles bleached white. I didn't mean to hurt her, he muttered. Noah's voice softened, not sympathetic, but certain. I know. But intent doesn't erase impact. A long silence hung between them. Finally, Adrian lifted his head. Where is she now, Noah? Tell me. Noah's eyes darkened. She's with someone who can protect her. Someone who's been waiting years for this moment. Adrian's pulse thundered. Who? Noah stepped closer, lowering his voice. Elena didn't run alone. She didn't even choose where to go. Adrian swallowed hard. Then who chose? Noah's answer was a quiet, lethal blow. The person who picked her up at 2:14 a.m. was the same man who erased her identity 12 years ago, and he wants the baby back. Adrian felt the air shift, as if the temperature in the penthouse dropped 10 degrees. Noah's words sat heavy in the silence, each one puncturing Adrian's chest. The same man who erased her identity 12 years ago. 1. Adrian swallowed hard, trying to bring reason back into a moment that had spun violently out of control. You expect me to believe, he said slowly, that the federal agent who put her into witness protection suddenly decided to take her, at 2 in the morning, without notifying anyone? Noah didn't flinch. Not federal agent, he corrected. Former federal agent. Adrian blinked. Former? He left the program 9 years ago, Noah said. Under ethical concerns. But no one leaves WITSEC clean, Adrian. When he walked out, he took knowledge worth millions. Adrian's jaw tensed. And you're telling me that man found her? After 12 years. He never stopped looking, Noah said quietly. The case Elena testified in destroyed 3 corporations, 2 judgeships, and an entire financial ring. Her testimony was the spark, but the people hurt by it. They were fire. Adrian's mind raced. His thoughts had no edges, just panic spilling into every direction. Why would he betray her? He protected her. Noah hesitated the first sign. This situation was bigger and darker than even he wanted to admit. He wasn't supposed to get close to her, Noah said. But he did. Too close. Enough to lose perspective. Adrian frowned. Are you implying he what? Fell for her? Noah didn't answer. The silence said everything Adrian didn't want to hear. Adrian's stomach knotted. Tell me his name. Noah held his gaze. Agent Marcus Hale. Adrian felt a jolt of recognition he couldn't place. Why does that sound familiar? Because you've seen him, Noah said. He was at your wedding. Adrian recoiled. That's impossible. He wasn't a guest, Noah clarified. He was monitoring Elena. You thought he was hotel staff. He watched her walk down that aisle, knowing she had no idea who he was. Adrian's breath faltered. Images flashed through his mind, faces in crowds, strangers who lingered too long, a man adjusting chairs at the ceremony, wearing a black suit too formal for staff. No. No way. He had one rule, Noah continued. Never intervene unless Elena's life was in danger. Adrian's eyes narrowed. And now suddenly she is? Noah's voice hardened. Your insurance update with her real maiden name went through the wrong server. It triggered an alert in the same network the Vaughn family still has influence in. They found her. Marcus realized they found her. Adrian's pulse throbbed violently in his neck. So he kidnapped her? He rescued her, Noah corrected. Before they could, Adrian let out a short, disbelieving laugh. Rescued? Leaving her phone behind? Breaking into my safe? Taking my... He didn't take your son, Noah snapped. Marcus took their leverage. The baby connects too many powerful people. If those people lose access, they lose protection. They lose money. They lose everything. Adrian struggled to steady his breath. So Marcus Hale is what now, a savior, a hero? Adrian scoffed. He wiped her identity once. Why would Elena trust him again? Noah's voice lowered. She didn't, he said. She woke up terrified, disoriented, crying. Marcus forced her to leave. She didn't want to go. Something hot and ugly twisted inside Adrian's chest, a rage he didn't know how to direct. So what's his plan? Adrian demanded. To disappear her again? Erase her twice? Noah exhaled slowly. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Adrian stepped forward. Where did he take her? Noah didn't move. I don't know. Adrian snapped. You expect me to believe that? You know everything about her. Noah's jaw clenched. I know Elena. I don't know the man who believes he owns her past. Adrian's breath hitched. Owns her. Noah nodded grimly. Marcus isn't acting like a protector anymore. A beat of silence. He's acting like a man who finally decided Elena belongs to him. Adrian's heart slammed against his ribs. What the hell does that mean? Noah looked him dead in the eyes. It means Marcus Hale didn't take her to protect her. He took her because he wants to keep her, and he's willing to kill for it. Elena woke to the soft hum of tires on asphalt and the sterile scent of leather upholstery. For a moment, she didn't know where she was. There was only darkness, warmth, and the rhythmic sway of a moving vehicle. Her fingers brushed against a fleece blanket, her baby's blanket, and panic ripped through her chest. Herr son. She sat up sharply, heart pounding. The baby carrier beside her held her sleeping infant, bundled tightly, breathing softly. Relief flooded her bones, only to be swallowed immediately by dread. Because she wasn't alone. A man sat in the driver's seat, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark jacket that strained across his back. His face was hidden in shadow, but his voice was unmistakable. You're safe now, Marcus Hale said. Her blood ran cold. Stop the car, she whispered, voice shaking. Marcus didn't slow. We can't stop yet. There are eyes everywhere. They were closing in faster than we expected. She pulled the baby carrier toward her protectively, her breath trembling. You can't just take me. I didn't ask for this. Marcus's jaw tightened. You didn't ask to be hunted either. Elena stared at him, her pulse slamming against her throat. Adrian will notice. He'll call the police. Marcus gave a bitter, humorless laugh. He already did. Guess who the police will believe? The wealthy executive husband, or the woman with no birth record before age 18. Elena's stomach dropped. He wasn't wrong. The system was built for men like Adrian. But that didn't make Marcus her savior. She leaned back, trying not to tremble. Where are you taking us? A safe house, Marcus replied. Somewhere no one can track you. No, she said firmly, surprising even herself with the steel in her voice. I'm not disappearing again. I lost everything the first time, my name, my friends, my childhood. I'm not running for the rest of my life. Marcus's hands flexed on the wheel. I'm not asking you to run. I'm asking you to survive. Free. I survived already, she shot back. I rebuilt everything. I made a life. I found love. She stopped abruptly, biting her tongue. Marcus didn't miss a beat. Love? He repeated quietly. Is that what Adrian gave you? Elena swallowed, unable to answer. Marcus continued, more softly now. You don't remember the night I erased you. Maybe it's better you don't. You were shaking so hard you couldn't sign your own name. You cried for hours. You begged us not to send you away. But I knew if we didn't, you'd be dead before morning. Elena closed her eyes. A sharp ache pulsed behind them, memory fragments, blurred, muffled, painful. Then she whispered, I didn't ask you to love me. Marcus went still. Dead still. I didn't, he said finally, but his voice betrayed him. She opened her eyes. I'm a mother now. I'm not your responsibility. I'm not your unfinished mission. Marcus's grip on the wheel tightened. You're more than that, he said. You always were. Har. Elena shook her head, tears burning. You don't get to choose my life for me. Not again. For the first time, doubt flickered across Marcus's face. Before either could speak again, headlights flared in the rear window. Bright. Blinding. Too close. Elena stiffened. Who is that? Marcus checked the mirror, jaw locking. A black SUV flew toward them at impossible speed. That's not one of mine, he muttered. The SUV swerved into their lane. Marcus cursed and jerked the wheel as Elena shielded the baby with her body. The SUV rammed their bumper. Elena screamed. Marcus accelerated. They found us, he said, voice cold. Another hit, harder. Marcus, who is it? Elena cried. His eyes flashed with something she had never seen before. Fear. It's not Adrian, he said. It's someone far worse, and they don't want you alive. Oh. The SUV lunged again, metal screeching against metal, jolting Elena so violently she nearly lost her grip on the baby carrier. Her heart thrashed against her ribs, loud enough to drown out the roar of the engine and the pounding of her pulse. The baby stirred and whimpered, and Elena curled around him instinctively, shielding him with her entire body. Marcus slammed his foot on the accelerator. The tires screeched across the wet highway, sending up a mist of dirty water as the car surged forward. Hold on, he barked. I am holding on, Elena yelled back, voice shaking, fingers white-knuckled around the carrier. The SUV behind them swayed, regained control, and shot forward again intent, relentless, a predator with headlights. Who are they? She cried. The Vaughn Network, Marcus growled. People who want the baby. People who want you erased permanently. No. Elena's throat tightened. The same people from 12 years ago? New faces, Marcus said, swerving sharply as the SUV tried to clip them again. But the same loyalty, same money, same vengeance. The dark highway curved along the river. Manhattan's distant skyline glittered like a cruel reminder of how close and how far safety was. Call someone, Elena shouted. Call the FBI. Call the police. Marcus gave a harsh laugh. And tell them what? That a protected witness they believe is dead just resurfaced with a baby tied to one of the most corrupt judicial families in the country. We won't last 5 minutes. Another hit from behind. Harder. The back window cracked, splintering like a spider web. Elena screamed, ducking over her child. Marcus cursed under his breath. He yanked the wheel, sending the car across 2 lanes, dodging a semi-truck by inches. Horns blared. Headlights flashed, but the SUV stayed on them. What do they want? Elena's voice cracked. Just the baby? No, Marcus said. The baby is their insurance policy, but you. His jaw clenched. They want you gone. Permanently. The highway opened into a long stretch of deserted industrial road. The SUV sped up again, closing the gap. Marcus slammed his fist on the steering wheel. Damn it. Marcus, we can't keep doing this, Elena cried. He's going to get hurt. 1. Marcus looked at the baby, at Elena, terror etched on her face, her eyes wide, raw, pleading, and something inside him snapped. I'm getting you to safety, he said, voice low but deadly serious. No one is touching either of you. Then he jerked the wheel left hard. They shot off the main highway onto a narrow service road running parallel to the river. The SUV followed, tires kicking up gravel. Elena looked out the window. No, this leads nowhere. That's the point, Marcus said. Marcus, there's a tunnel ahead. If I can lose them for even 10 seconds. But he didn't finish. Because as they rounded the curve, the SUV rammed them again. The windshield cracked. The car fishtailed wildly. The baby screamed. Elena sobbed. Marcus fought the wheel. "Marcus, please. I've got it," he shouted. He didn't. The car spun, skidding sideways, tires shrieking, sliding toward the guardrail overlooking the river. Elena grabbed her child and braced for impact. Marcus wrenched the wheel again, and for one terrifying moment, the world tilted. The SUV didn't slow down, didn't hesitate, didn't fear death. It hit them a final time with monstrous force. Glass shattered. Metal buckled. Their car broke through the guardrail. Elena's scream filled the night, and the car plunged toward the black water below. As the freezing air and rushing river consumed the world around her, Elena heard Marcus whisper one last thing. "Hold the baby. Whatever happens, just hold him." Cold. That was the first thing Elena felt, cold, so violent and absolute it shocked the scream right out of her throat. The car hit the Hudson like a falling steel coffin, shattering the surface in an explosion of icy darkness. Water flooded in instantly, swallowing the interior, rising fast, too fast. Elena tightened her arms around the baby carrier, instinct screaming louder than fear. The little one wailed, a sharp, terrified cry muffled by rushing water. "Elena!" Marcus yelled, fighting his seatbelt as the car tilted nose down. The river swallowed the front seats, creeping toward them like a living thing. The shock of the water stung Elena's skin, numbing her fingers, but she held on. "Get the door open," Marcus shouted. I can't." Elena's voice trembled. The water pressure pinned the doors shut. They were trapped, sinking toward the black abyss. Marcus shoved his shoulder against the window, eyes burning with determination. "Elena, listen to me. Keep the baby above water as long as you can. I'll break the glass." The car creaked as it sank deeper. The back seat filled to Elena's waist. Her teeth chattered violently. She pinned the baby to her chest, her own body shielding him. "Marcus, hurry," she cried. He slammed his elbow into the window once, twice snarling against the pane. Cracks formed, spidered, spread. The car groaned as the river pulled it downward. "Elena, when the water fills completely, take a deep breath," Marcus shouted. "When the pressure equalizes, the door will open." "I can't, Marcus. I can't breathe." "Yes, you can," Marcus roared. "Your son needs you. Hold on." The water surged past Elena's shoulders. She gasped for air, pressing the baby to her neck, feeling his tiny heartbeat hammering frantically. The window finally shattered outward, releasing a violent rush of bubbles and river water. "Now," Marcus roared. "Get out, go." Elena kicked off her shoes and pushed, kicking her legs, forcing herself and the baby carrier toward the broken window before the suction dragged them down. Her lungs burned. Her limbs shook. The cold cut like knives. "Marcus!" She screamed underwater, losing precious air. He grabbed her arm and shoved her through the opening with a strength fueled by terror, not power. The river swallowed them both as the car vanished below into darkness. They kicked upward, breaking the surface in an explosion of gasps and freezing air. Elena sucked in breath after breath, her chest seizing. The baby cried alive. Alive. Marcus kept one arm around Elena, the other cutting through the waves. "The current's strong, we have to move sideways, not forward." But the river wasn't on their side. The current pulled them hard, dragging them downstream, spinning them toward the shadowed pylons of an old industrial bridge. "Look out," Marcus shouted. Elena clutched the baby tight as the water hurled them toward the concrete pillar. Marcus shoved her away from the collision, taking the hit himself. His cry was swallowed by the wind. "Marcus," Elena screamed, reaching for him. "I'm fine," he gasped, though his face contorted in pain. "Keep the baby above the water." But she knew he wasn't fine. Blood spread in the water around him, faint but unmistakable. The baby wailed louder as the current dragged them farther from the crash site. "Marcus, we're not going to make it." "Yes, you will." Marcus tightened his grip on her coat. "There's a service ladder near the pier, look for the light." "Swim, Elena, swim." Le. She saw it then, a faint yellow glow flickering against the concrete. Hope. Elena fought the current with shaking arms, kicking with every ounce of strength left in her. Marcus stayed behind her, guiding her, pushing her when she faltered. "Almost there," he gritted out. "Don't stop." Her fingers brushed metal. She grabbed the ladder with a sob, clinging to it with frozen hands. The baby cried weakly. Elena reached up, then felt Marcus's hand slip from her waist. "Marcus?" she gasped, twisting around. He wasn't answering. He wasn't swimming. He was sinking. And in the moonlit river, Elena saw why blood spreading from a deep wound near his ribs as the current pulled him under. Elena's scream tore through the icy night as Marcus slipped beneath the churning surface, his dark hair swallowed by the black water. For one horrifying heartbeat, she couldn't move. Her fingers clung to the cold metal ladder, knuckles white, the baby's thin cries vibrating against her chest. "Marcus," she shouted, voice breaking over the wind. But the river didn't care. The river kept secrets. The river kept bodies. The current dragged him backward, his arms weak, his head dipping under again and again. Blood pooled in faint red clouds around him, vanishing instantly in the merciless water. Elena's chest constricted. He'd gotten hurt saving her, saving their son, saving a woman who wasn't his responsibility and never asked for his loyalty. But Marcus Hale had always been a man who made choices alone. And he chose her. Again. Elena whipped her head toward the baby, still alive, still breathing, still clinging to life through sheer instinct. She placed him carefully onto the lowest rung of the ladder, securing the carrier strap around the bar so he wouldn't slip. "Stay," she whispered, even though he couldn't understand. "Mama's coming back." Line. Without hesitation, without thinking about her own life, Elena plunged back into the freezing river. The cold slammed into her like a wall of knives. Her limbs screamed in protest, but she kicked hard, slicing through the dark water. Her eyes scanned desperately for movement, any sign of him. "Marcus," she gasped, swallowing river water. A weak cough surfaced several feet ahead. She swam toward it, numbness creeping up her arms, stealing her strength. Finally, her hand brushed fabric, his jacket. She wrapped her fingers around his collar and yanked his head above water. His face was pale, lips turning blue, eyes half-lidded. "Elena," he choked. "You should have climbed up, not come back." "Shut up," she gasped. "Hold on to me." He tried to help, but his body went slack, limbs heavy with cold and blood loss. Elena hooked her arm under his and kicked with everything she had left, dragging him toward the ladder. "Stay awake, Marcus," she begged. "Please, don't you dare fall asleep." A faint smile touched his lips. "You're bossy when you're terrified." "Good," she snapped, breath shaking. "Be annoyed. That means you're alive." As they neared the pier, waves crashed harder, slamming them against the concrete base. Elena winced, her ribs aching. But she didn't let go. She tightened her grip on Marcus's jacket and reached for the ladder with trembling fingers. Her hand slipped once, twice, then caught. She hauled herself up enough to grab Marcus's arm, dragging him toward the rung. "Come on," she whispered. "Come on, come on." His chest heaved. "You always were stronger than you knew." She didn't answer. Her teeth were chattering too hard. Finally, she got both of them to the base of the ladder. She hooked Marcus's arm over a rung and pressed her forehead against his shoulder, sobbing with cold and adrenaline. "You're not allowed to die," she whispered fiercely. "Not after everything you did." He coughed, each breath ragged. "I don't plan to." Elena forced herself to climb with one arm, dragging the baby carrier up with the other. Every step felt like lifting cement. When she reached a flat metal platform, she placed the baby down and leaned over the edge to help Marcus. He tried to climb, but his strength failed. His grip slipped. "No," Elena screamed, reaching out. Marcus looked up at her, haunted, apologetic, fading. "Elena, I'm slipping." "No." She grabbed his wrist with both hands, digging her heels into the platform as the river pulled. Her muscles shook violently. "I'm not letting go," she cried. "I'm not." Marcus met her eyes, something dark and resigned flickering behind his. "Elena, look behind you." She didn't want to. She did. A figure stood at the end of the pier, silhouetted in the moonlight, motionless, watching them. And Elena instantly knew the nightmare wasn't the river. It was the person waiting on land. The figure stood perfectly still at the end of the pier, framed by the weak glow of a broken floodlight. Night mist curled around him, softening the edges of his silhouette. But Elena knew with the sharp, instinctive terror of a woman who had run too many times that it wasn't a stranger. Her breath caught, her body locked. Every buried memory she tried to suffocate clawed itself back to life. "Adrian," she whispered. He stepped forward into the dim light. His hair was soaked from the rain. His expensive coat clung to him, dripping onto the concrete. His face was an unreadable mask except for his eyes. His eyes were wildfire. "Elena," he said, voice low, trembling with something she couldn't name. "Step away from him." Marcus stirred weakly below her. She tightened her grip on his wrist, jaw set. "Don't you dare," she said. "I'm not letting him drown." Adrian's gaze flicked to Marcus, then back to her. A small, cold smile curled at the corner of his mouth. "You think I came here for him?" Elena's heart hammered harder. Adrian took another step, then another. "You took my son," Adrian continued, voice trembling. "You disappeared from my home. You broke into my safe. You ran off with—" He spat the word him. "I didn't take anything from you." Elena fired back. "That child isn't yours. He never was." Adrian's jaw twitched. "That's not the point," he said, stepping closer. "You embarrassed me. You made me look like a fool. And after everything I gave you, you controlled me?" Elena snapped, voice cracking. "You twisted every part of my life until I didn't recognize myself anymore." The baby cried softly behind her, the faint, desperate sound slicing through the cold air. Elena shifted protectively, shielding him with her body. Adrian's expression hardened. "Give me the baby," he said. "Right now." Her blood froze. "No. Ho. Don't make this harder," Adrian said. "You can walk away from this with minimal consequences if you hand him over." "Consequences?" she echoed. "For trying to survive?" "For lying to me," Adrian said quietly. "For betraying me. For letting him—" He shot Marcus a venomous glare. "Put his hands on you." Marcus coughed violently, his grip loosening. "Elena," he rasped, "don't trust him." Adrian's eyes ignited. "She trusts me more than she trusts you," Adrian growled. "She married me. She vowed her life to me. You think one night of adrenaline and chaos changes that?" Marcus opened his mouth, but only a broken groan escaped. Elena clenched her jaw, fury twisting inside her. "You don't get to talk about vows. Not after Brielle. Not after the clinic. Not after you." She stopped herself, breath shaking. Adrian's expression sharpened like a blade. "So he told you." Elena stiffened. Adrian stepped closer, voice dropping to a dangerous hush. "I did what was necessary to keep our family intact. To keep you stable. You were slipping, Elena. You were losing control. Someone had to protect the future." "By drugging me?" Elena's voice cracked. "By letting her touch my medical records? By taking away my choice?" Adrian's composure fractured. His voice rose. "I made you a mother." Elena recoiled, as if struck. "No," she whispered. "You made me a prisoner." For the first time, Adrian's mask slipped completely. Rage, desperation, and something twisted flickered beneath the surface. He pointed at Marcus. "Let him sink," Adrian said coldly. "He's the reason you're running. He's the reason you're scared. He's the reason they're after you. Let him go, Elena. Save yourself." Elena stared at him, horrified. "You're insane." "No," Adrian said softly. "I'm your husband." Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind Adrian. Slow, heavy, purposeful. Adrian turned. Elena's breath stopped, because stepping out of the shadows was a second man, someone she hoped never to see again. And when their eyes met, Elena finally understood. Adrian was not the worst thing waiting for her tonight. The footsteps were slow, deliberate, each one a verdict echoing across the cold pier. Elena's pulse skittered painfully in her throat as the shadow behind Adrian solidified into a towering figure. When he stepped into the broken floodlight, the breath collapsed in her lungs. Judge Alistair Vaughn, the man Elena testified against at 18. The man whose empire rotted from the inside once she spoke. The man she had spent 12 years trying to forget. His presence felt like a nightmare clawing its way into reality. "Hello, Elena," Vaughn said, voice deep and unnervingly calm. "You've grown." Her chest tightened. Memories slammed into her interrogation rooms, whispered threats. The night Witsek dragged her into a van. And his voice. Always his voice. Adrian stiffened. "Judge Vaughn, what are you doing here?" Vaughn lifted one brow, as if amused by the question. "You're speaking to the wrong man, Adrian. I haven't been a judge in years." He smiled, cold and slow. "But influence, that lingers." Adrian swallowed hard. You told me you wanted Elena found, not—" "Yes," Vaughn interrupted, "found. Not stolen by a man who still believes he's part of the Bureau." His gaze slid past Adrian toward Marcus. Marcus hung onto the ladder with one trembling hand, blood pouring from his side, breath ragged. He looked up at Vaughn with pure hatred. "You," Marcus rasped. "You're supposed to be in prison." Vaughn chuckled, his coat shifting in the wind like dark wings. "Oh, Agent Hale. Rules bend for the wealthy. I am surprised you haven't learned that by now." Elena felt her skin crawl. She tried pulling Marcus farther onto the platform, but he groaned in agony. "Stop," Marcus whispered. "He'll kill you if you move too fast." Vaughn stepped closer, shoes clicking softly. "You should have died that night, Elena. I warned them letting a frightened teenage girl testify would come back to haunt all of us." His eyes flicked to the baby carrier. "And yet, here we are." Elena's arms wrapped around the child reflexively, protectively. Adrian stepped between them. "Vaughn, you said no one would get hurt. You said we just needed the child." Elena's breath hitched. "We?" she whispered. Adrian froze. Vaughn smirked. "You didn't tell her?" Elena's throat constricted. "Tell me, what?" Adrian didn't answer. Vaughn did. "Adrian has been working with me for months," he said. "He did not call the police when you vanished. He called me." His gaze sharpened. "And he agreed to trade your son for immunity. His career, his reputation, his freedom." Elena felt the world tilt sideways. Her vision blurred, breath fracturing. "Adrian," she whispered. "You wouldn't." Adrian's face crumpled, not with guilt, but with panic. "Elena, listen. I was protecting—" "You were protecting yourself," Marcus croaked. Adrian rounded on him, voice splintering. "You don't get to talk. She was my wife. She was never yours." Marcus spat. Adrian lunged. Vaughn lifted one hand calmly. "Stop." Adrian froze mid-step like a reprimanded child. Vaughn's eyes gleamed. "It's touching, really. Both men fighting over a woman who was never meant to survive." Elena shook with fury. "You're not taking my child." Vaughn's smile widened. "That child does not belong to you. He belongs to a legacy far greater than you could ever understand." Elena's voice broke. "He is my son." "Biology disagrees," Vaughn replied. Elena staggered back as if hit. Marcus tried to rise, but collapsed, groaning in agony. "Don't. Listen. He's lying." Vaughn drew closer, his shadow swallowing the pier. "Elena," he said softly, "I'll offer you one chance. Bring me the child, and I'll let you walk away." She stepped back, trembling. "Never." Vaughn nodded once, almost polite. "Then you leave me no choice." He lifted his hand. Adrian reached inside his coat. Elena froze, because she suddenly realized Adrian wasn't reaching for a phone, or keys, or a wallet. He was reaching for something far worse. Something metal. Something deadly. Something he pointed straight at Marcus. For one suspended moment, time froze. Adrian's arm extended, the metallic glint of the gun catching what little light the broken floodlamp could offer. His chest heaved, his face twisted not with certainty, not with righteousness, but with something uglier. Desperation. "Elena," he warned, voice cracking, "step away from him." But Elena didn't move. Couldn't. Her legs felt fused to the icy metal platform. Marcus lay half-submerged at her feet, his face drained of color, breath ragged, the river licking at his side like it wanted to reclaim him. His eyes flicked up toward her, pleading not for himself, but for her to protect the child. "Elena, don't let him." Marcus groaned. The baby whimpered, sensing the tension, the cold, the danger. Elena curled an arm around the carrier, her entire body trembling. Judge Vaughn took a leisurely step forward, almost amused. "I told you, Adrian. Sentiment clouds your aim." "Shut up." Adrian hissed without looking at him. "This is your fault." "My fault?" Vaughn's voice dipped like silk over broken glass. "You were the one who reached out. You were the one who begged me for leverage. You were the one who wanted the child out of Elena's hands. Elena's breath hitched. A sob clawed her throat. Adrian, you tried to take my baby? She whispered. He winced as if struck. Elena, listen to me. You were spiraling. You were seeing threats everywhere. I needed control. You mean ownership, Marcus rasped. Adrian snapped. Shut up. The gun shifted dangerously. Elena cried out. Please, Adrian, stop. Put it down before you do something you can't undo. But Adrian's eyes were wild, darting between her and Marcus, unhinged by fear and betrayal. He ruined us, Adrian whispered. He turned you against me. You don't understand, he's been manipulating you since the day he met you. He wants you for himself. Marcus forced a weak laugh, coughing blood. You're projecting, Lockwood. Adrian's face contorted. Elena is my wife. No, Elena said softly, but her voice carried power she didn't know she had. I was your possession, not your partner. Adrian flinched. His grip faltered. The gun wavered. Judge Vaughn's smile thinned. Aim higher, Adrian. He's already dying. Adrian's breath came fast and uneven. Elena, please, he begged, eyes glistening. Choose me. Show him you're mine. Elena stared at him, tears falling silently down her cheeks. She saw it all clearly now. The manipulation, the isolation, the lies, the cruelty disguised as protection. Marcus, half-conscious, whispered hoarsely, Don't you dare choose him. Adrian snapped the gun back at Marcus. Stop. Elena screamed, but her scream didn't stop the sound. The gun fired. A single deafening crack ripped through the night, echoing across the river. The baby wailed. The world jerked. Elena's vision blurred. She expected to see Marcus's body slump, expected to hear his last breath, expected the horror to end in one irreversible moment. But something else happened. Marcus didn't fall. Adrian did. His gun clattered onto the pier. His knees buckled. His eyes went wide with shock, staring at the red blooming across his shoulder. A gunshot from behind him. Judge Vaughn jerked his head toward the far end of the pier, fury ripping across his face. Elena followed his stare and dropped her breath in disbelief. A third figure stood in the shadows. A silhouette she knew. A voice she had prayed to hear again. No badge. No gun raised now, but an unmistakable presence. Noah Whitfield stepped forward, lowering his smoking weapon. His voice was steady, cold, protective. Step away from her, Noah said. Judge Vaughn turned slowly, eyes narrowing because the man who just shot Adrian wasn't there by accident. He came to finish what he started. For a long, trembling moment, no one moved. The only sounds were the baby's thin cry, the river slapping the concrete, and Adrian's ragged groans as he clutched his bleeding shoulder. Smoke curled from Noah's gun, fading into the freezing night. Elena fällt her Lungseite. Noah, she whispered. He didn't look at her. His eyes, normally calm, clinical, full of quiet empathy, were steel, cold, focused. A man who came prepared to kill. Noah stepped forward, never lowering his gun. You're done, Adrian. Adrian spat blood, fury twisting his features. You broke into my home. You stole my wife. You lied about everything. She's not your property, Noah said. She never was. Before Adrian could answer, Judge Vaughn let out a slow, mocking clap. Well, Vaughn drawled, isn't this touching? The doctor who thinks he's a hero. The agent drowning below. The wife who can't decide which man to run to. Noah shifted his stance, pointing the barrel directly at Vaughn now. I'm not here to negotiate. Vaughn raised both hands in a mock surrender, lips curling in amusement. Then go ahead. Shoot. But know this, if I die, 50 names hit the headlines by sunrise. 50 names who want that child. And they will come. 10 times harder. 10 times less patient. Elena's heart plummeted. Noah, she whispered. He's telling the truth. Noah didn't look at her. He didn't break eye contact with Vaughn. I know, Noah said quietly. Which is why I'm not here to kill him. Vaughn blinked. Noah reached into his coat with his free hand and pulled out something small, black, thin, with a flashing green light. A signal blocker. He tossed it onto the pier. It crackled softly. And, suddenly, Elena understood. He didn't come alone. He didn't come blind. He came prepared for war. Marcus got a message out before the crash, Noah said. Every federal agency you ever bribed is tracking your location. Vaughn's smile faltered, only slightly. You think WITSEC will protect her again? Vaughn scoffed. They abandoned her the moment she wasn't useful. No. Noah said. That's why I'm here instead. The implication shattered through Elena like lightning. Noah wasn't acting under any agency. He wasn't following orders. He was fighting for her. For someone who claims to have no badge, Vaughn said. You're awfully willing to die for a woman who barely knows who she is. Noah's jaw tightened. She doesn't need to remember who she was. She needs to survive who you are. Vaughn's eyes narrowed. His hand slipped subtly inside his coat. No. Elena screamed. But Noah fired first. The bullet struck Vaughn's hand, sending his hidden weapon skittering across the concrete. Vaughn cursed, holding his bleeding palm. Noah moved faster than Elena had ever seen him move. He closed the distance in 3 strides, kicked Vaughn's gun over the edge of the pier, and pressed his knee into Vaughn's chest, pinning him hard. Adrian stared in disbelief. You're insane. Whitfield, he'll destroy all of us. Noah didn't look back. That's the plan. Elena's breath hitched. Noah. What are you doing? Noah reached into Vaughn's coat again, ripping out a burner phone. He tossed it to Elena. Smash it. Now. Elena stomped it against the concrete until it shattered. Good, Noah said without looking at her. That's one less way they can track him. And the others? Vaughn sneered. Noah pressed the muzzle of his gun to Vaughn's throat. I'll take them one by one. Elena's trembling hands wrapped around the ladder. She looked down. Marcus was unconscious. His head tilted, his body limp, the river tugging him back toward death. Noah, Elena choked. Marcus, he's not breathing. Noah's eyes flicked toward the water. For the first time, a crack of fear split through his calm. Elena, he said, voice dropping. Don't let go of him, whatever you do. Not let go. Because beneath Marcus, something huge moved in the water. Something rising. Something not human. Something Vaughn had been waiting for. Elena froze, half crouched, half hanging over the edge of the pier, staring into the swirling black water below. Marcus's limp body bobbed weakly with the current, his head dipping under, resurfacing only when the river reluctantly spat him back up. But that wasn't what made Elena's blood turn to ice. Something below him was rising. Slow at first, then with purpose, then with hunger. Noah, she screamed. Something's in the water. Noah's head snapped up. He shoved Vaughn flat against the pier with one hand and aimed downward with the other. Gun steady. What do you see? Noah demanded. Elena's voice quivered. I can't. Something big. It's circling him. Vaughn laughed. Actually laughed. A low, cold, dead thing of a sound. You think I came here without insurance? Vaughn hissed. Boy Hale wasn't supposed to make it out of the river. No one survives my river. Noah slammed Vaughn's head into the concrete hard enough to crack it. Shut up. But Vaughn only grinned through the blood on his teeth. Check the current beneath him. You'll see. Elena looked again, and this time she saw it clearly. A glint of metal. A mechanical shimmer just beneath the surface. Too straight. Too precise. Too controlled. No, she cried. It's not an animal, it's a drone. Noah's eyes widened. A retrieval drone? Vaughn chuckled. You should know, Doctor. The Vaughn family doesn't leave evidence floating. Elena's stomach lurched. It's trying to pull him under. And it was. The water churned harder around Marcus's torso as the machine latched onto something beneath the surface, his belt, his jacket. She couldn't tell. But it began to drag him down, steady and merciless. No, Elena whispered, panic clawing her chest. No, 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 Marcus. She dropped to her knees, reaching with both hands, but the river yanked him farther out. Elena, get back, Noah barked. I'm not leaving him, she shot back. Elena, you'll go in too. I don't care. On. Noah cursed under his breath. He stood, shoved his gun into the waistband of his coat, and sprinted toward her. His boots slammed the metal, leaving echoes behind him. Elena, move. Noah, he's sinking. Marcus slipped under again, longer this time. Too long. Elena screamed, plunging her entire arm into the water, reaching blindly. Please, please, Marcus, grab me. Nothing. Only river. Only cold. Only emptiness. Her heart shattered. No. No. Get up, get up. Then, suddenly, a hand. His hand. Weak. Ice cold. Barely there. He grabbed her wrist, fingers slipping. I've got you, she cried. Hold on, hold on. Noah slid beside her, hooking his arm around her waist and planting his feet against the base of the ladder. Elena, don't lean forward. You'll go under with him. He's slipping. She sobbed. He's slipping. That's the drone, Noah growled. It's pulling him. Vaughn watched from the ground, smiling like a king observing a doomed battle. That man dies tonight, Vaughn murmured. Noah snapped his gaze toward Vaughn. Not if I kill you first. He yanked a knife from his boot. Elena had never seen it on him, and without hesitation, he stabbed downward into the water, aiming for the metallic shimmer dragging Marcus. Sparks erupted. The drone jerked violently. A mechanical whine pierced the night. Marcus surged upward, gasping, choking on river water as the machine malfunctioned. Pull! Noah roared. Elena and Noah hauled Marcus upward together inch by agonizing inch, until his body slumped onto the metal platform. He collapsed, unconscious again, barely breathing. Elena fell over him, sobbing. Noah braced himself beside them, panting. Behind them, silence. Then, a slow clap. Vaughn pushed himself to his feet, blood dripping down his face, his smile vicious. Well done, he said. But you forget Marcus was never the problem. Noah raised his gun again. Then who is? Vaughn's smile deepened. The woman standing behind you. Elena turned, and her scream split the night because Brielle Vaughn was there, holding the baby carrier in her hands. Elena's scream tore across the pier, raw and primal. No. Brielle Vaughn stepped fully into the light, her blonde hair soaked from the rain, her coat clinging to her like a second skin. But it was the baby carrier in her hands, the one Elena had secured on the platform seconds earlier, that made Elena's knees buckle. The baby whimpered softly. Confused. Cold. Alive. Brielle smiled. A smile Elena had once mistaken for harmless friendliness. You didn't think I'd miss my chance again, did you? Brielle purred. Noah's gun whipped toward her instantly. Put the carrier down, now. Brielle chuckled as if amused by a child. Oh, Noah, you always pretended you were the calm one. But you're just as emotional as the rest of them. Elena stumbled to her feet, her legs trembling. Give him back, she begged. Please, please, Brielle, you have no idea what you're doing. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing, Brielle replied, tilting the carrier slightly so the baby's tiny hand reached out blindly. I'm cleaning up my family's mess and ensuring my future. Vaughn smirked. That's my girl. Noah raised his voice. Brielle, you're not getting out of here with him. Her eyes sharpened. You think I came alone? Noah stiffened. Elena felt her heart plummet. Brielle nodded toward the shadows near the loading ramp. Figures emerged, 3 of them faces covered, bodies armored in dark tactical gear. Elena's breath hitched. There, your men? Brielle shrugged casually. My uncle may have fallen from grace, but money still talks. And Mommy always said if a girl wanted to survive in this world, she needed either a powerful husband, she shot Elena a cruel look, or a powerful army. Adrian groaned, dragging himself upright. Brielle, stop. This wasn't the deal. Brielle turned to him like he was an insect she had grown tired of stepping on. Adrian, sweetie, she said with poisoned sweetness. You weren't part of the plan. You were just the ladder. Adrian froze. Realization crashed over his face. You used me, he whispered. She smirked. Of course I did. And you made it so easy. Noah took one careful step forward. Brielle, the baby doesn't belong to your family. He's innocent. Innocent? Brielle scoffed. He's leverage. Elena lunged toward her. You touch him, I swear I. One of the masked men grabbed Elena's arms, yanking her back. She screamed, kicking, fighting like a wounded animal. Noah swiveled his gun. Let her go. 1. Another masked man aimed a weapon at Noah, a compact tactical rifle with a suppressor. The standoff stretched so tight it felt like the night might snap. Marcus, half conscious on the platform, lifted his head just enough to croak. Noah, don't. They'll shoot. Brielle crouched beside the baby carrier, stroking the baby's cheek with a manicured finger. You know, she purred. I used to worry Elena would fight harder. But now I see. She's too broken for revenge. She's exactly like my uncle said. Her smile sharpened. Disposable. Elena thrashed in the guard's grip, her screams shredding the night. Don't touch him. Brielle stood, lifting the baby carrier. Bring the car, she told her men. We leave in 60 seconds. Vaughn nodded approvingly. Noah's voice dropped, cold and deadly. Brielle, if you walk away with that child, she cut him off. You'll die trying to stop me. Maybe. But you'd have to shoot me first. And are you ready to put a bullet through the mother of your future political nightmare? Noah's eyes narrowed, but his hand trembled. Brielle strutted backward toward the ramp, her guards flanking her. Elena's breath collapsed into sobs. No. No. Please. Don't take him. Brielle paused, tilting her head. Oh, Elena. Her smile turned razor-sharp. I already took your husband. Did you really think I wouldn't take your child too? She turned away, but stopped, because headlights exploded across the pier. Engines roared. Tires screeched. A convoy of black SUVs flooded toward them. Elena's heart lurched. Brielle's guards raised their weapons. Judge Vaughn's smile vanished. Noah's eyes widened with recognition. Because the logos on the SUVs weren't federal. They were corporate. Lexford Technologies' private security had arrived, and they weren't there to save anyone. Elena froze as the convoy of black SUVs screeched to a halt, forming a semicircle around the pier like a steel jaw snapping shut. Their engines growled cold, efficient, corporate. The headlights washed the concrete in harsh white light, throwing every fear, every bruise, every truth into brutal clarity. On the side of each armored vehicle was the gleaming silver insignia. Lexford Corporate Security. Adrian's company. Adrian's empire. Adrian's last weapon. No, Elena whispered. Not them. Not now. Adrian pushed himself upright, clutching his bleeding shoulder. Yes, he rasped, blood dripping down his sleeve. I told you, Elena, I always protect what's mine. But his voice shook. His face betrayed panic. This wasn't his rescue. This was a mistake spiraling beyond even his control. The doors of the first SUV burst open. Men in tactical armor stepped out faceless behind black visors. More than Brielle's team. Heavily armed, moving with military precision. Brielle's guards stiffened instantly. What the hell? Brielle snapped. I didn't authorize this. The captain ignored her and marched forward. Per Lexford emergency protocol, he announced, voice metallic through the helmet. All assets at risk of corporate compromise must be secured. Elena felt a chill rip down her spine. Assets. Not people. Assets. Noah tightened his grip on his gun. Everyone stay behind me. One of the Lexford guards lifted his rifle. Step aside, Doctor. Whitfield. The child is a high-value asset. Elena's scream cut through the night. He's a baby. He's a human being. He's a liability, the guard corrected coldly. A biological key to two competing corporate entities. Our orders are to retrieve and neutralize all threats. Marcus groaned, trying to push himself up, but collapsed again. Noah stepped in front of both Elena and the baby. You'll have to go through me. That was the expectation, the guard replied. Brielle snapped her fingers at her own men. Stop them. That child is mine. Her guards raised their weapons. Lexford security raised theirs. A standoff, three armies pointing guns at each other, and at the woman clutching a baby carrier with trembling hands. Judge Vaughn wiped blood from his mouth, watching with sick satisfaction. It seems everyone finally understands, he said. That child isn't a blessing. He's a war. Shut up, Elena screamed. All of you, he's just a child. Not. Her voice cracked, echoing across the pier, carried by the river wind. Silence followed. For one single beat, the world listened. Then, the Lexford captain lifted a hand. A signal. Take the child, he ordered. Use lethal force if necessary. Everything erupted at once. Gunfire exploded. Shouts tore the air. Brielle lunged backward with the carrier. Noah fired, dropping the guard nearest Elena. Elena grabbed the carrier with both hands, screaming as two forces pulled on it in opposite directions. Noah, she cried, help me. Noah sprinted toward her, but Lexford weapons redirected instantly, forcing him into cover behind a rusted shipping crate. Bullets sparked around him. Adrian crawled toward Brielle, blood streaking the ground. "Give him," he gasped. "To me." Brielle kicked him in the chest. "Get out of my way, Adrian." Another shot fired too close. Elena dropped to her knees, throwing her body over the child, shielding him with everything she had. A Lexford guard closed in, towering over her. He grabbed her arm. She screamed, twisting, fighting with animal desperation. "Let go of me." The guard didn't hesitate. He raised the butt of his rifle, ready to smash it into her skull. And then, a single horn blasted across the river. Low, thunderous, mechanical. Everyone froze. Even the guards. A spotlight cut through the fog from the water. A massive ferry was drifting toward the pier, its deck filled with uniformed officers. Not corporate. Not criminals. Not Vaughns. It was the NYPD. And they weren't alone. Federal agents stood beside them with warrants in hand. The blast of the ferry's horn reverberated across the entire pier, shaking the concrete under Elena's knees. Blue and red lights flooded the darkness as NYPD officers surged forward, rifles raised. Behind them, federal agents pushed through the line, badges glinting like blades. "Drop your weapons, hands in the air." Pandemonium erupted. Lexford security spun toward the flashing lights, suddenly realizing they were dramatically outnumbered. Brielle's mercenaries hesitated. Judge Vaughn's confident smirk dissolved into panic as agents swarmed the pier. Noah darted toward Elena, sliding across the wet concrete. "Give me the carrier," he shouted. Elena clutched it tighter. "No, I've got him." "You're hurt," Noah insisted, voice breaking. "Elena, please, I need to get him checked." She hesitated, then finally, trembling, she lowered the carrier into his waiting arms. Noah pulled the baby close to his chest, shielding him instinctively. Federal officers surrounded them instantly. "Dr. Whitfield," one agent said, "you're clear. Stay behind us." Brielle screamed as two officers tackled her to the ground. "Get off me. I'm the rightful." "You're under arrest," an agent barked. "For kidnapping, assault, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to commit racketeering." "No," Brielle shrieked, thrashing. "The child is mine, he's mine." "Not anymore," Elena whispered. Adrian tried crawling toward her, blood dripping from his shoulder. "Elena, please, help me. Tell them I'm not." Elena stepped back. This was the man who claimed to love her. The man who violated her trust. Who nearly killed Marcus. Who tried to trade her child for his reputation. She stared at him with quiet, devastating calm. "I'm done saving you." Adrian's face crumpled as two officers lifted him roughly to his feet. "You are under arrest for collusion, medical coercion, and conspiracy with a known fugitive," an agent read out. "You have the right to remain silent." "Elena," Adrian screamed. "Elena, look at me. Look at me." She did. And for the first time, she felt absolutely nothing. Judge Vaughn tried to run. It lasted 3 seconds. A wall of agents tackled him so hard his knees buckled. His head hit the ground with a crack. "Alistair Vaughn," the lead agent announced. "You're under arrest for witness tampering, attempted murder, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice." Vaughn's lips curled in a snarl. "You can't protect her forever," he spat at Elena. "You're still the frightened little girl who—" "No," Elena said softly. "I'm a mother now." Vaughn finally fell silent. The pier slowly settled. The gunfire stopped. The shouting faded. The chaos evaporated into a cold, trembling quiet. Elena sank to her knees beside Marcus's body. "Noah," she cried. "He's not breathing. Marcus isn't breathing." Noah rushed over, kneeling beside her while still clutching the baby to his chest. "Back up, Elena, give me space." "Len." He laid the infant beside him, safely wrapped, then immediately turned to Marcus, checking his pulse, pressing his ear close, starting compressions with steady, practiced hands. "Come on," Noah urged, voice cracking. "Come on, Hale, don't you dare quit now." Elena sobbed, gripping Marcus's sleeve. "Please, Marcus, please." For 10 agonizing seconds, nothing happened. Then, Marcus choked, cuffed, sucked in a ragged, trembling breath. Elena cried out, collapsing over him in relief. He blinked up at her weakly. "You didn't let go." "No," she whispered. "Never." Officers approached gently. "Ma'am, we have medical teams waiting. He needs a hospital right now." Elena nodded quickly, brushing wet hair from Marcus's face. He's going. I'm going with him. Noah handed her the baby. The paramedics are ready. Elena, he's safe now. For the first time, she believed it. The nightmare was over. The river did not take her. The monsters did not win. The child she fought for would live. As the paramedics lifted Marcus onto the stretcher and Elena climbed into the ambulance holding her son tightly, Noah stepped back, watching her with something deeper than admiration. Something like love. Elena looked out at him through the open doors, her voice barely above a whisper. Noah, come with us. And just like that, our story closes. But you're still here, aren't you? If you're hearing these words right now, it means something in this journey touched your heart in a way you didn't expect. Maybe it reminded you of your own strength, or your own scars. Life sometimes takes us through darkness that feels impossible to escape. Yet, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, the obstacle becomes the way. Elena's strength didn't come from being unbroken, it came from refusing to stay broken. And that is something all of us can carry into our own lives. You deserve safety. You deserve peace. You deserve people who choose you with courage, not control. The Stoics taught that while we cannot always choose our circumstances, we can choose the person we become through them, stronger, wiser, kinder to ourselves. So if this story reached you, stay with us. Like this video, share it to someone who might need it, and subscribe so you don't walk through these late-night reflections alone. We're building something real here, you, me, and every heart brave enough to keep watching until the end.